Good morning, YouTube. We are off to a new patch. Patch 1.003.200 is out. Now, I am aware, before I get into the notes of balance and whatnot, that there are bot megacities in the game, and I'm aware there are new units. No, I have not played against them yet, so I will have nothing to say about them, and I'll pop in to start playing against them very shortly. There are a lot of good balance changes in this patch, and it's pretty interesting because some of them I didn't expect, and some of them I kind of did. First off, what I didn't expect is they reduced the time it takes for a Helldiver to get up from ragdolling, which honestly, I'd say it's kind of long overdue. There's been so many times where I'd be playing and you would hear me say, "Please, please, I just want to get up. I just want to be able to stand." There's so many things that can instantly kill you that sometimes when you're ragdolling just 2, 3 times in a row, it is, well, 2.5 seconds of your life you're not getting back. Now, they changed chest injuries as well. The bleed injury used to be very, very, very slow, very minimal. Uh, Democracy protects, and the Force of Law armor would protect against this chest bleed, but it was so low that it was kind of a non-issue. Now chest bleeds deal 10 times as much damage, so chest bleeds are going to be, oh my god, I'm bleeding out, please help me. Now, that's funny, and that's cool, because now Democracy Protects will protect you from this very serious injury, and it'll be really funny when you're watching your friends bleed out, screaming for a stem. So I'm super excited to see somebody finally bleed out, and I always wear Democracy Protects, almost all the time, so it's going to mess me up the second I take that armor off. Next up was one I also didn't honestly expect. The One True Flag can now be planted into enemies, and I really didn't think they'd be able to pull that off. It seems to be something that's counterintuitive to how their models and the game works, but they found a way to make it work. So kudos to Arrowhead for that, because that's what people wanted to do, and there was a lot of enemies um you couldn't do that against. Like, you'd get on top of a tank or Hulk or something like that, and you go to plant and it would just do the animation and not plant the flag. Now you actually can get away with the damage, even if it's minuscule. Now, some of the stuff I didn't expect here was the stun values. They seem to going through the stun value of everything that stuns at this point, other than maybe the stun grenade, things that apply like smaller stun. The pacifier got its stun buffed, the pummeler got its stun buffed, the blitzer got its stun buffed, and the pacifier also got buffed for its mag size and max mag size, which, once again, like I said, I thought the pacifier was good. I liked where the pacifier was at. I used it. I got to level 20 when I would usually equally leveling all my weapons. So it's safe to say that I really like the pacifier, and I didn't expect to buff to it at all. Same deal with these, like, stun duration on the pummeler. So the pummeler and pacifier getting a buff is pretty cool. Then little minor changes with the bayonets, Constitution, the amendment. They get a little more stagger. And the Warrant can lock on large size enemies. I was just talking about this yesterday. I was playing with Peter the Noob in my group, and he was like, "You can't lock on the stalkers. You can't lock on to basically quote large enemies, things that it can actually damage. Medium pen. It now can. So the Warrant becomes a better weapon because the Warrant is very low damage, only like 80 damage. So it really needs to be able to lock on those targets. The fact that it's looking at a target that it can penetrate and it can't lock onto it just feels silly. Another one was the Urchin buff. Supposedly the Urchin can stun more enemies now, large size enemies. I don't know exactly what term large size enemies means, but I heard someone in my Discord saying it can stun Bile Titans now. I'm not gonna, know that until I pull out the Urchin and actually test it, but the fact that it can stagger enemies and stun them, and bigger enemies is a straight up buff, because the Urchin does 0 damage, so it was definitely the weakest grenade in the lineup with very limited use cases. They buffed both the incendiary grenades as well, which, I mean, I guess this goes along with, like, they decided to buff the flamethrower, and fire damage in general. So this just seems like another general sweeping buff to fire once again, because and on top of the extra burn for the grenades, they go and they buff the fire sentry and they give it huge resistance to fire, and they give it a faster cooldown. So fire's back on the menu, I guess, so I'll have to try that out. And even more stun increase on the de-escalator. So Another one that's been broken for a long time is the Firebomb Hellpod. Didn't kill certain enemies because it didn't deal the right type of damage. It didn't do the default Hellpod explosion, so they seem to have fixed that with the Sun Pods, Firebomb Pods, and they changed the stagger and demolition of them to compensate for the fact that it still does the default Hellpod damage. Not sure how it's going to actually play out. I mean, there was a stagger strength and a demolition strength on the Firebomb and the Stun Pods that was higher, and they said it's to prevent ragdolling, which is kind of I kind of miss this because honestly, the whole point of taking Firebomb Hellpods was because of the stagger strength, ragdolling players away. I'm not sure if this default Hellpod explosion plus firebombs equals enough to ragdoll someone with the fire effect because most things, when the fire comes down, you expect it to, well, light you on fire or knock you away, something. So I hope it's still similar to what it was before and it doesn't tighten that radius up too much. And once again, more fire buffs. It's easier to put large to massive sized enemies on fire, so that's probably going to be like your Torch and a Bile Titan. Same deal. And the Warriors got a bit of a change, which they used to be mostly fodder. I mean, they've been one of the easier medium enemies to kill. They changed the damage they need to be gibbed, which is completely destroyed and exploding from 500 to 750. There was a lot of stuff that would just pop a Warrior and they would just disappear, so it's appreciated that while they're making a lot of stun weaponry better, which I feel like affects the bug front the most, that they're still giving a little bit of a buff to a unit on the bug front. Scout Striders look like they got nerfed a little bit. The leg armor went down from 3 to 2, and the durable resistance has been increased. I'm not sure how this is actually going to play out. I haven't seen Arrowhead's official video on this. I skipped through it a little bit. I'll have to see how that feels. I'm going to start shooting their legs and see what happens. And I don't understand this part. Unarmored torso health zone armor decreased from 2 to 1. So, I don't know if this means, like, Overseers have, like, I don't know if that means, like, their pads between, like, their armor plates. Getting less armor and being able to be super easy pen. Whatever the case is, it's all the Overseers have a little bit less armor somewhere in their torso, which is usually where you shoot them at, anyways. But I thought it was already like it was already light pen, so I don't understand what this value really is. I don't really know the armor values. I'm not the YouTuber with the numbers. I'm the YouTuber who plays stuff and sees how I see how it feels. Tiny fixes, Gunslinger. Gunslinger had something wrong with it. Fixed entrenchment tool issue with ranged weapons after dropping the entrenchment tool. Could it be the end of the shovel bug? Could it happen? Some with status effects applying too many times. Some bad pathing and terminal issues. This seems like just general bug fixes. I didn't really see anything particularly. I don't know if fixed an issue during map generation that could result in missing terrain features just applies to like cities generating weird or extractions being bugged. But hopefully extractions will stop spawning underground soon, TM. But overall, another sweeping group of buffs to the game with very little in terms of buffs to the enemies. But at the same time, they have added more to the bot lineup. I need to get to playing it, so I'm going to see these new bots. I don't even know what their names are. I have literally seen a screen cap and a 3-second GIF of the new bots and new bots in the Mega City, so expect more videos coming out soon, today, TM, or tomorrow. So peace out, guys.